you need 15 yards to give Jake Elliott a shot, 20 yards to feel comfortable. And you're going to have like 5 plays if if you're being playing it out the right way to try to make this happen. And Jalen Hurts throws an interception. So tell us what is on your mind about it first, Zach, before we ask Fran about it.
Yeah. And understandably so much of the attention went to Nick Sirianni's decisions and the defense's inability to stop them on that 70-yard drive there on, to take the lead. But I remember sitting there looking at the clock saying the Falcons scored too early. The Eagles have 34 seconds and 2 timeouts. With the way kicking is right now and the way Jake Elliott is now, realistically, you're looking at, if you get 30 yards, you're getting a kick inside a field goal under 60 yards, right? If you can get it within the 40-yard line, you would take that for a game-winning field goal, right? And you have 2 timeouts, and you have you can still spike it. You have the sideline to work with. And the first play is productive there. You have that pass to Goddard, and so that's the situation you outlined there, where now they're at the 43-yard line with 1 timeout, 27 seconds, 15 yards to go. Jalen throws it up. Like it was, to me, it was a low percentage pass, an ill-advised play.
It's a bad choice.
And I know he said after the game, Jesse Bates made a play on the ball. I thought he just threw it up there. Like I thought it's the type of throw you make if there's 12 seconds on the clock and you need to get in the field goal range there, right? To me, it just kind of lacked situational awareness there. And I thought that given the fact that there was all these other things that happened in the final 2 minutes, that kind of got lost. In real time, I don't know if I really kind of gave it the blame, for lack of a better term, that it deserved.
Nor did I agree.
When I watched it back, I'm thinking they can win this game, right? Who was he throwing to? He put it up there. He floated it up there. And to me, it was a bad decision and not the type of decision that a franchise quarterback should make in that situation.
It was also very similar to the Seahawks game, right? In addition to that Kirk Cousins drive being like the Drew Lock drive, and all of the mirrors of 2023 reflecting back on the beginning of this season, it was a really bad decision from Jalen Hurts because they had a lot of time to work with, relatively speaking, and a timeout. He can just throw that ball away. So what happened on that play, Fran?
Well, just so happens that I have the play in front of me, and I'm looking at it so I can talk through this. Obviously, it was the last play I watched about 10, 15 minutes before we started the show. So it's a 3-by-1 set. You've got Devontae Smith by himself to Jalen's left. You've got Saquon Barkley in the backfield lined up to him to his left as well. To the right side, you've got Dallas Goedert as the number 3 receiver, Britton Covey as number 2, and Jahan Dotson as number 1. Now, Atlanta comes out in a pressure look. You've got 5 defensive linemen down. It's 3 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers, but 5 guys up on the line of scrimmage, and they play man-to-man coverage. It's straight cover 1. They're running. It's a 5-man pressure, so it is a blitz with a long stunt. It's a really tough one to pick up, where you're sending one guy around 4 defensive linemen. So it was a really long stunt for the offensive line to pick up. Now, it took time to get there, but the Eagles had a vertical concept worked in. Now, the one thing I would say, comparing this to the Seattle play from a year ago, that Seattle play was A.J. Brown lined up outside the numbers, running a straight fade. And it's just hey, let's just chuck this up. This is more of a 3-level stretch concept that teams the teams use. I think this was a perfectly fine play call, given the situation. They're certainly looking for a chunk. Now, this comes down to how it's coached. What is the situational awareness here? Do they want Jalen to work the intermediate route first and then go deep? Is it hey, work the deep route first and then work your way down? That's the one part we don't know. But what we'll say is right now you've got Devontae Smith. He is running a post corner route. So he's working against A.J. Terrell in man-to-man coverage. It's essentially a double move. He's going to work towards the inside, towards the post, and then he's going to break on a very deep corner route. Now there's a little bit of contact about 15, 20 yards downfield with Terrell. But, Devontae plays through it, but Bates is able to beat him to the spot. Now, the reason why I mentioned that intermediate route is that route is run from Britton Covey coming from the other side. Covey is quick. He's not the fastest. And so while a lot of people will look towards the intermediate route in this situation, I think that, some people may point to this and say, hey, this is where the ball should go. I do understand Jalen in this situation against man-to-man coverage with D. Alford right on Covey's hip. Say, hey, I'm not going to throw this route. I'd rather take my chances going to Devontae Smith.
And if you complete it, you're going to use your last time out, and you're not getting that much. Right. I mean, he'd be better off just throwing it at the ground at Covey's feet, right? Yeah. I mean,
Covey is running he's hitting his break at the Atlanta 45. And so, it's past the first down marker. It was not like an 8-yard gain that he's turning down. But pretty tight coverage in that moment. And again, with that looper coming around, with that blitzer coming around. And so, Jalen says, hey, this is going to be the throw. I'm going to throw it to Devontae here. I didn't love the decision. But again, I kind of see what he's looking at there in terms of just letting his guy go make a play. Devontae had to fight through the contact there, and I think that affected his landmark ultimately. Bates was able to go out and make a play outside the numbers.
I just think there's two things that can't happen there. You can't take a sack. You can't throw a pick, right? Yep. There's enough time on the clock that if you live for another down, that's okay.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think you're right that we have not we didn't talk about it enough last night. And I do think that this is an echo of Jalen Hurts over the years, like end of game, end of half situation stuff, like game situation stuff is not a strength of his. We saw in the Jets game last year, right? Like his ball protection and like his understanding of the clock and timeouts and stuff like that. It leaves you wanting a lot of the time. And in this situation, friend, if they recognize that this blitz is coming, is this a too long developing play? Should there have been a check pre-snap here?
I think that again in that situation, like if he throws it to Dallas Goedert in the flat for 4 yards, my guess is that we're probably complaining about that today. We're probably not happy about that outcome. So and that if I remember right, as I closed the play, if that probably was the answer there in terms of if I want to get it out against pressure. That's a tough one to say and that's the thing is that when it goes back to that conversation we had about Goedert versus Covey. Well, Goedert was chipping the defensive end on that play. So before he was releasing out into the route, so that speaks to where he was in the progression. He's a check down in that situation for Jalen Hurts. He's not the primary or even the second read on that play just because of how it was structured.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think about it like big picture, Jalen Hurts is being paid to be the franchise quarterback and a guy who, if Patrick Mahomes gets the ball in that situation, we can't compare him to Patrick Mahomes, but if a top 5 quarterback, a top 10 quarterback gets the ball in that situation, you expect them to drive them into field goal range with that amount of timeouts, that amount of time. And he came up short, and he played an otherwise pretty good game, but there's no doubt that that haunts him. That's not a good enough job.
Now he did get hit on the play. Like that's one thing to acknowledge. So he couldn't really step into the throw, but I
don't put it in harm's way.
That part I agree with. Yeah, like I thought it was when I was watching it back. I said I should have made a bigger deal about this.
We all silly like the mayor.